announced the finalists for their presidential search. Hear why certain members of the community are not a fan.
As well as a potential financial dispute related to ASCSU. Will it cause student fees to increase next year?
Then find out why CSU's long-term volleyball head coach decided to call it quits. All this and more on CTV News, starting now.
Good evening, Rams. I'm Kyra McKinley.
And I'm Mattison Brumagim. Thank you for joining us on our last show of 2022. Before we get into the news for you all tonight, the CSU men's basketball team is taking on one of their biggest rivals right now. Let's toss it over to Leah Cackowski, who will bring you up to speed. What's going on, Leah?
That's right, guys. Colorado State just tipped off against the Buffs. And man, do we need this dub after Sunday's embarrassing loss to UNC. These are my 3 keys to the game for Rams' success tonight. First, high intensity has to be present from tip-off. We've seen CSU consistently be a second-half team, especially this year. That attitude needs to quickly change heading into this heated rivalry, because a slow start won't suffice. Second, man defense has to lock in. It's not that the Rams played bad overall against UNC. They shot over 50% from the field, but just couldn't find a way to stop ball movement from the Bears' side. If they want to compete tonight, strong, clean defense will be key. And lastly, the Rams need to have intentional shots. When they get in a bind near the end, it's easy to result in sloppy, rushed attempts. So finding a way to slow the game down and take shots that are necessary and well thought out will help them succeed. They did a great job driving the ball through the paint last outing, so hopefully that will be another trend tonight. That's all I have for right now, but stick around later in the show to hear a live update from Boulder. Mattison and Kyra, back to you.
Thank you, Leah. A tragedy struck Fort Collins this Saturday when police found a man and 2 children dead in their home. Investigators are treating this case as a murder-suicide. Officers responded to a 911 call on Saturday morning from a man who reported that 3 people were dead inside the southeast Fort Collins home. Law enforcement believes the person who called the authorities was the man found deceased. He has been identified as 36-year-old Adam Zipperer. The deaths of 8-year-old Cameron Zipperer and 6-year-old Audrey Zipperer were ruled as homicides by gunshot wounds.
This is a tragic incident that affects those involved as well as the larger community.
The department can confirm Zipperer and the children were related, but are unable to share specifics at this time. Everyone here at CTV sends our condolences for those impacted by the loss in our community.
The mother of a young boy who accidentally shot himself last April pleaded guilty. On the night of April 10th, Fort Collins police responded to a call from a home in the 1200 block of East Lincoln Avenue. When they arrived, they found 6-year-old Roy Matthews dead on the floor with a gunshot wound to the head. The boy's parents, Rosanetta McKell and Ron Matthews, were both charged in the conviction of the death of their son. While the father pleaded guilty in September to tampering with evidence, McKell pleaded guilty on Tuesday for child abuse and unlawful storage of a gun. Her sentence is scheduled for this upcoming February.
A Fort Collins police officer who was accused of multiple instances of making false DUI arrests resigned last week. The department conducted an internal investigation on former officer Jason Hofferman when multiple DUI arrests were scrutinized or dismissed earlier this year. The investigation found that out of 11 cases where no alcohol or drugs were detected in blood test results, Hofferman was involved in 8. Fort Collins Police Chief Jeff Swaboa, said he was going to meet with Hofferman to discuss his final disciplinary decision, but the former officer resigned before that meeting.
You know, this story still brings up an important issue across the country. Driving under the influence can affect not only the driver, but those all around them.
That's right, Kyra, and it's super important to discuss this topic, especially this month. When you think of December, what comes to mind? Maybe it's the holidays or the end of fall semester, but did you know that December is also National Impaired Driving Prevention Month? The city of Fort Collins has the highest rate of driving under the influence in the state of Colorado. So far in 2022, there has been 11 deaths relating to impaired driving in Larimer County.
Sometimes during the holiday season, Christmas, New Year's, special New Year's, time you have more of a party atmosphere. You also have an increase in drinking and driving. And New Year's Eve is probably one of our busiest nights.
In 2019, the National Highway Safety Traffic Administration reported that 210 lives were lost between Christmas and New Year's Day due to alcohol-impaired driving.
It's not worth it. There are too many opportunities out here for people to take, whether it's a shared driver, a designated driver, Uber, Lyft, things like that, for people to avoid that. Just remember, not only can it affect your life, it's obviously the life of other people that are innocent people.
There are various resources to help prevent impaired driving.
RamRide is a program that the university has been running for about 20 years now, and recently we've partnered with Lyft to provide rides nationwide on holidays. So if you are a student of CSU, if you log into the RamRide app on a holiday evening, you can, anywhere in the country, receive a Lyft code for a Lyft pass that evening to get you home safe. We've done some research that the average ride within the city typically amounts to like $12.95. So we usually do a $13 Lyft pass because that will cover most average rides.
In Colorado, impaired driving has increased by 50% in the last decade. The City of Fort Collins Traffic Safety Summary from 2018 discovered that nearly 50% of all severe fixed object crashes involve alcohol. Before we take a short break, we're going to pass it over to Adam Carlson.
What's the weather looking like, Adam?
Thank you, guys. Hey, everyone. I'm Adam Carlson, and welcome to your final weather rundown of 2022. In typical Colorado fashion, this semester has been keeping us guessing, but we got through it. But with finals week and a lot of traveling happening, let's jump straight into what you can expect for your finals week. Current conditions, we're going to see that temperatures are 33 degrees out, clear skies, humidity at 43, and a little bit of wind. Now, with break fast approaching, many students are getting ready to travel home. However, weather should be something on everyone's minds. Next week, expect some snowfall and higher wind speeds, which could lead to flight delays or cancellations. You may want to check the status of your flights regularly before and once you get to the airport. Looking at overnight lows, we're going to see that everything's around those 10s in the Eastern Plain, some in the 20s, but Colorado Springs, Pueblo, and Lamar are all in those red flag warnings. Again, that just means there's a higher chance for fire. Once we head over to the mountains, that's when it gets interesting. Craig with 3, our first single digit of the semester, and Gunnison with -7, our first negative. Now, Telluride also has an avalanche warning going on, but all of these warnings should resolve by tonight. Tomorrow's highs, it's going to look a bit better. We're in the 40s and 50s for the most part. Heading down that I-70 corridor, things cool down a little bit. A lot of those in Craigvale, Telluride, all in those 30s. Grand Junction hitting us with 41. Now, tomorrow's forecast, we're going to see 43 degrees is our high, 21 is our low. It's going to be sunny out, so take it, enjoy it. Humidity at 42% and 6 mile per hour winds. Now, sunset is at 4:33, which should be the lowest amount of light we get before things start getting better after that winter equinox. Now, for the 5-day forecast, we're going to see next Monday, Tuesday, we're going to get some snow. Should only be 1 to 3 inches between the 2 days, and everything's in those 30s and 40s throughout the week, but with those cooler teen temperatures as our lows. And that will conclude the final weather rundown for the semester. I'd like to thank you all for letting me bring you the weather each week. I know I will be enjoying my winter break and hoping for some snow for the holidays. But stay tuned. After the break, Mattison and Kyra will return with more news on ASCSU, financial disputes, and to update you on an upcoming plastic bag law. All this on CTV.
Living with someone you don't know on the other side of the wall is hard, especially if you don't know how to be a good roommate. The first thing that you'll want to do to be a good roommate is make sure that you always stay quiet. Be considerate of others when using common spaces and appliances.
Hey buddy, what you doing?
I'm just gonna need like 40 minutes. Be respectful of your roommate's privacy.
Ugh, my bad.
Finally, make sure that you clean up after yourself. Oh, fresh toothbrush.
Have you seen my toothbrush?
Follow these tips to get along with your roommates and your landlord.
To the pump.
Welcome back from the break, Rams.
Your student fees could increase if ASCSU spends all of their budget this year. The next administration may have to ask for more funding from the Student Fee Review Board, which could increase student fee dollars.
We have $1.3 million to play around with. Theoretically, if that $1.3 million was spent entirely, there would be less money the next administration than there was this year. So they would only have $1.3 million overall. And half of that, $500,000 of that would be sunset clauses. Whereas this year we have about 1.3 million free money to spend, and there's about $500K in the sunset clauses still. So that's kind of a little bit what's going on. My bill basically will not fix the problem, but make sure the problem doesn't get worse. Basically putting regulations on sunset clauses so that way the sunset clause problem doesn't balloon up into a bigger problem.
Elijah Sandoval, who is the president of the Student Fee Review Board, supported President Long's decision to try and reallocate or regulate ASCSU funding.
For ASCSU in particular, I would much rather see reallocations of the budget rather than putting it on students first. I cannot speak for next year's administration. I don't even know who next year's administration is, so I don't know what they would do. But unless they come to us with a really solid reason as to why they want to increase the fees, I don't foresee there being a fee increase for ASCSU.
President Long's Lex was tabled, so it will be presented at the first ASCSU meeting next semester. And at that time, we'll see how this financial problem will be dealt with.
After almost half a year, the CSU Board of Governors announced Amy Parsons as the sole finalist for the presidential position at Colorado State University, but some are skeptical of this decision. Of CSU staff have expressed concerns about her previous experience. They feel as if though she is not qualified for the position, as she does not have a background in education or research. We will know if the community's concerns influences the Board of Governors by December 15th.
If you walk through the Laurie Student Center Plaza, odds are you'll see some students and people from the community spreading awarenesses for causes that they care about. Yesterday afternoon, Anonymous for the Voiceless was on campus, raising awareness for animal cruelty.
For these animal activists, their driving reason for being vegan is not just to have a healthier diet.
I would just bring it back to the animals. You know, this group here, it's not about us or affects us. We're thinking about the animals, you know, and caring for the animals and not killing the animals.
No animals are exempt from animal cruelty in the meat and dairy industry.
The babies cry, the moms cry, it's horrible. The mom is re-impregnated right away so that she can continue to produce milk. The babies are either killed because they're of no use to the dairy industry. If they look like, oh, that'll grow up to be a good mom, they're put into the same horrible cycle as the mom. If they're a boy, they're very likely to be killed, or they'll put in a veal crate.
Students here at CSU had a wide range of opinions after hearing about the realities of this industry.
Eating animals and animal products, these are pretty healthy for people. But on the other side, I feel like we have good plant options, like for the proteins and for everything. But yes, I mean, it's very essential for kids, for grown-ups, for their daily requirement of their energy and their like maintenance and all kind of energy. So yeah,
I think it's good that they're out here trying to spread awareness about it. I personally understand it. I have a lot of feelings towards like the fast food industry and the meat production there, not in support of it. So I think it's good that they're out here.
These animal activists are hopeful that their presence on campus will spread awareness about the realities of the meat and dairy industry and inspire students to take action.
And that people will either perhaps become vegans or become vegan activists. Try to make a change. Try to make a change. One of the reasons that the companies exist that we're seeing here is that people buy the stuff.
One person can save the lives of up to 100 animals a year by switching to a meat and dairy-free diet, according to one of these animal activists, Leilani Castle.
If you have yet to store reusable bags in your car for unplanned grocery shopping, 2023 may be a good time to consider doing so. Starting January 1st, Fort Collins' ban on single-use plastic bags will be broadened. Currently, the ban is only impacting large grocery stores, charging 10 cents per single-use plastic bag. In the new year, per the Colorado State Plastic Pollution Reduction Act, large retail stores such as Home Depot and REI will also be included in the ban, implementing the 10-cent fee on the use of single-use bags. Fort Collins is 7 months in from the city's plastic bag ban and has profited almost $120,000 from the 10-cent bag fee within grocery stores.
The minimum wage in Fort Collins is just $12 an hour, which is $5 shy of a livable one, according to the city. Fort Collins is taking steps towards creating a more livable minimum wage requirement. In January, the city will increase its minimum wage requirement to $15 an hour. The Colorado State University Housing and Dining Services will be increasing their minimum wage to $15 an hour as well. This increase in minimum wage will help the university hire and retain more staff, according to the Collegian. It will also help their staff make a more livable minimum wage as well.
In the mood to de-stress and be inspired by your fellow students? Well, now you have that opportunity. The annual Student Art Exhibition is now open at the Kerfman Gallery located in the Laurie Student Center. The exhibit houses many solo pieces of artwork from any form of media. LSC Arts Program co-lead installer Alice Newman said, quote, "I think the gallery is a fantastic way to get to know the creative minds we have at CSU. Spaces like this are such a good way to see how people are combining their research with art and seeing how people work through their process," end quote. Once again, the exhibit is open now and will be open through January 27th. And with that, that's all the news we have for you all tonight. But stick around.
Leah Cackowski will return after the break to take a deep dive into one of CSU's head volleyball coaches.
You may not want to miss it.
How's it going, Rams? Welcome back to the very last edition of CAC's Closeout for the semester. For tonight, we'll pick up where we started with CSU basketball, and then conclude with a special feature on someone who has impacted CSU in so many ways. All of that coming your way on CAC's Closeout, which starts right now. As you heard from earlier in the show, the CSU men's basketball team traveled down to Boulder to tussle with the Buffaloes. CU is currently 4-5, while the Rams are sitting at 6-3. Let's see how it's faring so far. So there's currently 15 minutes and 8 seconds left in the first half, and CSU is actually trailing the Buffs with a score of 10-7. For the Buffs, Tristan Da Silva currently has 6 points, going 2 for 2 from the arc. And for Colorado State, Patrick Cartier is having 4 points right now. Either way, there is still a lot of game time left, and I'm really counting on the Rams to bring this win home to get their momentum back. But as always, we're just going to have to wait and see. And moving on for the last story I have for you tonight. Head volleyball coach Tom Hilbert just concluded his last season here at CSU. And boy, was it a remarkable run. I had the chance to talk to Hilbert and others about his incredible tenure. "26 years. That's how long CSU head volleyball coach Tom Hilbert has been here. His accolades during that span are incredible. With 18 Mountain West regular season titles and 23 NCAA appearances, all comes down to a few winning coaching strategies.
Being able to go out and find recruits that I feel like when you look at that recruit, you have a vision of that player helping you win a conference championship. That has always been my philosophy. If I can't see them doing that, we don't recruit them. Being dedicated to this sort of family and team-like environment where everybody works very hard, everybody understands that you're constantly growing.
However, claiming championships isn't the only important goal Hilbert established for his team.
This is never a means to an end. You're always in transit. And so, being able to keep everybody feeling that way and understanding that it doesn't matter how many championships you just won, you move on and you're trying to get better in every area.
Though this is his attitude on the court, his influence outside of volleyball is what truly makes him special.
Tom off the court has been probably the most impactful part of him as a coach. He really, really loves us as humans.
And the ways in which he shows that are unlike no other.
A unique thing about Tom is how much he loves to entertain and cook for people. And so we have a lot of awesome memories, at his house where he is making gourmet things and I'm not a foodie whatsoever, and so my palate has expanded immensely since having Tom cook for me.
Outside of the kitchen, other stunning Hilbert memories stick out, including one with Jackie's parents.
We all went to the park with him and Claire, and this was shortly after they just got married, so that was another part of it, was like we were excited to get to know the woman he just married, who's obviously amazing. And so the four of us just had a picnic at the park and brought sandwiches, and it was just cool to experience Tom outside of the volleyball court.
The care he demonstrates for his players and staff is admirable, and it translates into other areas as well.
He does not settle. And so when it comes to, recruiting or fundraising or asking for something for our administration in terms of marketing, he demands the best, and he's willing to be patient and keep fighting for that standard versus just settle for something because it's the easy route.
I think he does really well too is develop us as leaders, because he obviously has so much leadership experience and he's a great leader. He's led such a successful program.
And the reason for that is his heart for Fort Collins.
This community is very special and they love the sport. We've developed sort of a partnership with them throughout the years that I've been here, and that has made the job quality here so amazing. And I think it's something that you continue to cultivate, but certainly it's something that has kept me here for many, many years.
Jackie was able to share her senior recognition alongside Hilbert's tribute, creating a moment that she will never forget.
Walking up to Tom at the end there, to receive my little poster and give all my coaches a hug, it was a surreal moment to realize that this is one of the last times I get to play with such an influential person and leader, and someone who will truly be, I'm sure, a part of my life for the rest of my life, because he's family now.
But the pull of CSU will always remain.
Really, what I will miss the most is the daily interactions with young people. That keeps you young, it's fun. Those interactions in practice or just seeing somebody, out on campus or whatever, I will miss that quite a bit. And I will miss Colorado State University because I think it is an amazing place. But I'm not going to miss it that much because I'm staying here and I will be around. And I plan to always be a supporter of CSU. So, you know, that I think will always be in my life.
Wow, I wish all the best to Hilbert as he transitions into retirement. It has been so fun to watch his teams compete, and I know the future of Rams volleyball will continue to hold the brand's great legacy he created. And with that, Rams, that is all the sports action I have for you tonight here on CAC's Closeout. I wish everyone the best of luck as we enter finals week. Speaking of, we have one more story for you all who may be a little too stressed about finals prepped. Stay tuned after the break.
Worried about your friend, but don't know how to reach out?
You could say, how are you, or get a fake tattoo. You could ask with an app if it works for you. You could chat with them in VR, it's all good. If you think you should check in, yeah, you should. Whatever gets you talking.
Reach out to a friend about their mental health.
Whatever gets you talking.
Learn how you can help at seizetheawkward.org.
Welcome back from the break, Rams. My name is Zoe Hayman, and with finals right around the corner, I know I'm looking for anything that can help motivate me to study. Whether that's a place or some tips, I knew CSU students would have the answer.
Hey Rams, and happy Dead Week. I'm here on campus to find out some study tips from our very own CSU students.
Study in between classes, because I never want to when I get home.
I think it helps to really set up an environment. I don't like to study in my room anymore because I just get too distracted. So really creating an environment, having everything you need so you don't get up.
Stay off Snapchat, and if you can get a solid classical music playlist going, I highly recommend. Get some movie soundtracks.
What is your favorite place to study on campus?
My favorite place is probably over in the Warner building there.
I love the Warner College building. I know it's that's my major, that's where it is, but there's a tree inside the building, so it's pretty great.
On campus, it's gotta be in the LSC. I don't know exactly what it's called. It has really comfy chairs, or Skeller.
Even though not many put beer and schoolwork in the same category, the Ramskeller is a very popular study spot. If all else fails, the Morgan Library has some great spots too. The Cube is right beside the entrance of the library and is perfect if you are looking for some peace and quiet. And if quiet isn't your thing, the chairs by the LSC pianos are usually open too. I hope you heard some helpful tips, and I wish you all the best of luck on your finals. How are you guys feeling about your finals?
You know, I'm pretty excited. I only have one, so I'm excited to wrap it up.
You know, most of mine were due this week, projects and finals, so I'm very excited to be done.
I can't keep track anymore, so I'd like to go home. That'd be great.
Where's home, Adam?
The Springs, Colorado
really?
Springs.
Nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
Well, Rams, that concludes the final CTV News Show of 2022.
Thank you all for tuning in.
We have enjoyed bringing you news from both the CSU campus and the Fort Collins community.
Remember to stay safe out there, Rams.
From all of us here at CTV, have a wonderful break, and we'll see you in 2023.